Hey, Broken Salespeople. In this episode, I talked to Todd Verdell. Awesome interview where we talk about entrepreneurship, getting punched in the face, and building a business while still having to maintain a family and a W-2 full-time job. Hey, Broken Salespeople. Welcome to the workshop. My name is Red Staffstrom, and we are here to help you fix your broken sales skills. Today, I'm here with Todd Verdell of Fit Guerrilla and Development Victory Podcast. As normal, don't know a ton of details. We talked for a grand total of about 4 minutes before I hit record. So I really want to talk to him about his business, what he's doing, and I want to figure things out the same time as you do. So, Todd, why don't you introduce everybody else to yourself?
Hello, everybody. Once again, as Mr. Red just said, my name is Todd Verdell Jr. I have, so many opportunities for myself going right now. As he said, my main focuses are, my Development Victory podcast and also my Fit Guerrilla brand. Let me just go more in depth what Fit Guerrilla really is. So Fit Guerrilla is a fitness brand. It's a clothing brand. We don't do no type of training. We don't do nothing at all. We just do strictly clothing. But on top of that, what's behind the Guerrilla part? Everybody has that, that moment in their life. And, a gorilla is like really active. He or she is the king or queen of the jungle. So what you got to do, you have to take control of your own life and be that gorilla. Okay, you have to be that gorilla. You have to be strong for your friends, your own life, your family, anything that you have going on. You have to be strong, but also on top of that, right? Most people are having a hard time, getting inside the healthy lifestyle. So what Fit Guerrilla does, we promote healthy living, but also on top of that, we want you to understand that gorilla that you're wearing is, it's giving you, I won't say power, but I will say that type of energy that you need to, to continue that healthy lifestyle.
So when you say gorilla, you mean GOR as opposed to GUE.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I can see a great brand with either one,
Right.
like being the
Right.
person who's resourceful, who is
Right.
willing to like make something out of nothing with
Right.
scant resources. Like I love that idea too.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very
Like,
much.
and that's something that I think could really work really well with like CrossFit brands. It's like, hey, I don't have weights. Here's a tire.
Right. No.
Like that's something like I like both. Like,
Thank you.
so why don't we walk through the clothing side of things? Because I haven't spoken to as many people about physical resources recently. Physical
Um,
products are a fun space to be in as opposed to simply intellectual property sales.
right, right. So with me, with like, um, I'm really big into like fashion.
Okay.
So with me, I put a twist on it. So I put fitness with the clothing. So what I told myself is like I'm being honest. So I don't want like I don't care what nobody says. I want to be better than the next Nike. I want to be better than the next the next Adidas because I want to show the people around the world like listen, I can be better than the people that you shop with every day. Like we show like I can show different type of customer service. I can show different type of rewards to like I won't say force you guys like I won't say like to force you guys to to shop with us, but I will show some type of lovable for you to keep on coming back and coming back and coming back.
So how are you like what's your process to do that, to give them that little bit extra that Nike and Reebok isn't?
So basically, like you gotta. So what most people don't understand, like you gotta be inside of the community. Like you gotta talk to people. Like you gotta get your feedback with people, and that's another thing that entrepreneurs don't want to do. They don't want to get feedback because they feel as though every feedback is horrible, but it's totally fine with me. I don't care. You can say shit. Your fucking gorilla looks like it's shit. I'm like, okay, it looks like shit, but well, guess what? I'm still going to wear it every day. So,
And I'm a big fan of the Chris Voss mentality that you start with people saying, no, I don't like this.
right. I mean,
That just
right,
gives you opportunities to improve. It
right.
defines the conversation. Okay, if you don't like this, now we can tweak it to make it, whether it's something you
That's
like, whether it's something you don't, I don't care.
that's pretty much it. And
But it
like,
moves the needle in the right direction.
that's what I'm saying. Like with me, it's like I don't care what you say about me. You can say, "Oh, your podcast is the most horrible podcast on the world," but what my numbers say is totally different. So it's just like it's just like with me. I don't accept what you say about me. It's all about keep on going, because yes, it's going to be back in my head, because I want to fix that problem so we can make it even more better.
And that's something great because we talked really briefly about the entrepreneur side of things and being willing to go out and get punched in the face over and over again.
I can go way in depth with entrepreneurs. So just let everybody know, I'm a part-time entrepreneur right now. I'm working a full-time job. I'm trying my best to, quit my full-time job and just strictly work on my businesses. What most people need to understand about being an entrepreneur, like, you have to have a mindset. Like, your mindset must be the brain is the most powerful thing inside your body. If your mindset is not right, you cannot run a business at all, or a podcast, or whatever side hustle that you have. Your mindset is not A1. Do not think about doing nothing until your mindset is right.
So I kind of want to still take a step back and get more into the nitty gritty on the clothing side. So, and we spoke really quickly. Where are you finding the art? What's setting your clothing, like your products, apart from everybody else?
Like with me, like basically, all right. So basically, how I found my logo, I was networking, basically as usual. How I do everything else, I network with people. Before one of my friends helped me out, he did it. I was like, you know what, I'm not really feeling this logo. So I found somebody else who made it 10 times better, and I got a lot of feedback from it. So all right, cool. Now with the product, it's right now I'm starting out with basic products. 100% cotton, and this, that type of stuff first, because I don't want to, stress myself out and buy dry fit t-shirts and paying like $500 for like a pack of 300, and like I'm starting out with the small stuff first, because I'm the guy who starts small, then work myself out to be big.
And that's the right way to do. But the tricky thing is, I would love to see you brand yourself a little bit more as being something different than just the 100% cotton.
Oh no,
Give yourself
with me, how can I say this? I'm a private guy. Yeah. So I don't release my whole blueprint just yet until that I feel as though I know it's time to release the next step of the brand.
So there's a book that I literally just finished, which is why I'm so excited about talking about like physical products. It was 12 Months to 1 Million by, I forgot if it was Daniel Ryan Moran or Ryan Daniel Moran. I always mix up the two.
Mm-hmm.
But from prototype, finding your core audience, all of those things, it's an excellent book that I think you'd get a lot out of.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want to figure out like how we can help you with the need as opposed to just fashion, because I know it won't appeal to everybody. Like I'm not a fashion expert by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm trying to figure out how we set you apart in a way that really helps you knock the doors off this thing.
I mean, like I tell myself, I don't want to rush anything. I don't care. Yeah, I don't care if the person feel as though that it's not ready. It's just, this is a small step.
Oh yeah.
I've been working for this for a year now, and it's still in the progress of being worked on.
So in the Moran book, which I really enjoyed, he says you need 4 products doing 25 sales at $40 a day.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you build $1 million business. 4 products.
Of course.
To find the first product that spider webs out. Now, he actually talks about yoga mats and getting into the fitness industry. Gorilla yoga mat doesn't really match. At
I
least not
mean,
in my mind as much. I think it would match much better for like a CrossFit style.
it can match if you're really creative like how I am. Like I can make it work. Trust me, I know I can.
Oh, yeah.
Like I can.
But we want to start with the one product that's the stepping stone to everything.
Oh yeah, of course.
I like that idea. So do you? I know we're on video now. Do you have the logo? Like, do you have one like handy?
Matter of fact. Oh.
Okay.
Let me put this. All right, so this is the logo right here.
I like it. Like the simple buys, like it's nice and easy. I like the typeface on it.
So that's the logo. Now, to let everybody know, that is a sublimation T-shirt. Sublimation for everybody who wants to start doing making T-shirts. I'm gonna let you know right now. In my opinion, sublimation is not something good to do, honestly, because it fades out, and you'll get upset, and it's just a waste of money. So I'm not doing sublimation no more. I'm gonna start doing more heat transfer, just to let everybody know.
Okay. So how did you find the manufacturer that you decided to work with?
See, I don't.
Or are you just doing screen printing?
I'm just really like I do. I just with me, I just think of I just think of stuff like bulk sales of T-shirts. Whole bunch of like a whole bunch of stuff just pops up. Bulk sales of sweatpants. It's like I'm just just typing in anything that comes to my mind.
Okay. So, because that's something I think that there's a lot of, like, the fitness brands, especially right now, are such a hot point.
See, what people don't understand, right?
Mhm.
With manufacturers,
Mhm.
their costs way more. A
Yeah,
lot
and you
more.
need to do massive bulk orders, generally
Right.
speaking.
And like with me, like I be getting messages every day, like, hey, we have X, Y, and Z, and you paid this much. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not paying that much right now because I'm on a budget. So it's just like
The thing I like that you're doing is you've got a brand in mind as opposed to just selling fitness T-shirts.
that's
That's the nice thing that I really like to hear, because that's way too competitive a market where you can't compete with Alibaba.
you can't. You can't.
No,
So
that's not something that I would want I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemies, is trying to compete with Alibaba.
yeah, not at all. But yeah, my thing is a brand. It's not only just a T-shirt brand. I have other stuff that I'm working on at this present moment. I cannot reveal that stuff until the release date. But there will be a lot of more products other than just T-shirts.
Now, from a marketing standpoint,
Right.
how much would you like to go do like guerrilla style marketing, like GUE style guerrilla marketing?
See, that's the problem too.
Mhm.
By me working a full-time job, when do I have time to market myself?
So here's what I'm thinking that would work really well for you. You're familiar with Shepard Fairey, right?
No, please explain.
So Shepard Fairey was like one of the Andre the Giant, the obey sign
Oh yes,
that you've
yes,
seen everywhere. He was
yes.
the artist who created that.
Okay.
And the way he got that going was really simple. He went to Rhode Island School of Design and he printed out a bunch of the stickers and started putting them everywhere, where it
Mm-hmm.
became almost like stop signs, like
Right.
vandalism style.
Right.
That's a style of marketing I think you could really do really well with.
Oh, I do.
Dirt cheap.
Oh, trust me. I put.
Like, I mean, every
Oh,
piece of every electrical box, like you need people in your area to see that logo everywhere. And
real quick, I'm gonna just let you know where I live at. This is a retirement town place. So the area I live at, everybody, it's not for a business.
won't work there.
Not
But
for business at all.
no matter where you are, you're probably no more than 15-20 miles away from that.
No, like I'm trying to tell you, I live in a place
Mhm.
where your business is not going to succeed how you want it to succeed. I'm in the process of looking at houses. I'm moving because I'm about to move soon, and my business is going to get 10 times better to the place that I'm moving to.
Yeah.
And like I'm already, talking to business owners. I'm already talking to people. Hopefully about to sign a contract pretty soon with a business.
Awesome.
So it just like stuff is in the works. Like, as I said before, I can't reveal too much.
No, and I don't want you to reveal too much. But I want, when you move to this town, like right now, it's not the right. If it's not the right demographic, it's not the right demographic. Period.
It's not at all. Yeah.
But if you're in Maryland, that could be something in Baltimore, for instance, that could really catch on.
Yeah, it can. And like
But the problem is, I'm not sure those are your customers because it's generally low income, and you want to build a brand where you could sell those T-shirts for $40.
It's not the low income because I do want to go in those type of areas because I'm from that type of area. Like I used to like I'm from Philadelphia where I was, my parents was like not so rich. So like, they had to, to do certain, they had to work 4-time job just to, just take care of me. And like, that's one of the reasons why I started this brand, because not more people inside the low income areas don't know what, I won't say don't know what fitness is, but they're not doing it every day.
And they're not paying $60 a month for a premium gym membership.
Right.
Yes.
So why not a brand start having events in the summertime for kids and adults, and that's where I come in with the community. I'm hosting events. I have my products on hand, so everybody wins.
Yeah. But what I was thinking is you print out these little business card style stickers and you go to gyms and you put that on the handicap signs.
Yeah, I saw it. Matter of fact, I did that twice, but I got caught because where I live at, they're really strict on certain things, so I can't really do.
But again, so you get caught, and it's like, okay, I'll probably I got a razor knife in the car, like I'll rip it off myself right now for you. But
no, I definitely understand what you mean.
Yeah, there's a book that's coming out. So Michael Shine. The book isn't out yet. He just gave me an advanced copy of it. And it's a really good book. It's all about using hype and being like that old school hype man. And that's where I read the story about Shepard Fairey.
Okay.
The old school, like Barnum and Bailey style marketing, low cost, high
of course, yeah, yes, definitely.
I forgot what. I think it was the Who, but I could be wrong on that one. Where they drove through. Oh no, it was Alice Cooper. That the promoter for Alice Cooper conveniently had his bus break down in the busiest part of like London, with a picture of Alice Cooper naked with nothing but a python. But the bus broke down with that image, like one of those trucks. But those kinds of ideas could work really, really well for that brand.
Okay.
And the idea to tie it in with Fit Guerrilla with Guerrilla Marketing and having those intertwined, I could see a lot of work on that one.
Oh, trust me, it's coming. Just like I got it. Like with me, I just try to think of the best way possible as of right now to just get my stuff out there. Like this Saturday, I have a photo shoot, so so it's just I try different ways to market my brand. So
okay,
but the sticker brand, but the sticker thing, I do like that idea though.
Yeah, but just easy, like don't overcomplicate it, but you want people to start seeing that logo and have it be the inside joke of whatever community you really want to jump off in.
Right, of course, yes.
That's and I don't think competing against the Nikes and the Reeboks, like you don't need to compete against them.
No, it's not. It's with me. It's not competing. It's trying to be better than them because not most brands are actively inside the community, and that's why I feel as though that I'm gonna be better than them because I'm inside the community.
Yeah, because that's something that you could get to, but to have the diehard fans is always better. And like you said, with like in the community.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Inside the community. Yeah. And then, eventually once I do start traveling, making business trips, everybody else. Yes.
Yeah. So you pick one city at a time and you just take over.
Yes, of course.
That's how I see this growing. It's literally one I'm thinking of like I grew up like 90s hip hop, like street teams. Like that's the kind of marketing that I like to see.
Right. Of course.
Because that's
Yes.
where it's going to land.
Oh,
so
yes.
let's talk about the podcast side of things a little bit more too. So, Development Victory Podcast, you've been running it for a little while. You had a decent base, and now you're kind of relaunching at this point from the sounds of it.
Which is kind of upsetting because sometimes I hate talking about it because it makes me upset because don't get me wrong, everybody, we're still friends. Like she's she's like my sister. Like I would do anything for her. And like I'm not talking bad about her, but it was just for me, myself, for us to, stay up late nights and create a lot of ideas for it, it's upsetting. Like it's like real.
It wasn't just like the podcast, it was like that relationship, that time together that you also had that kind of fallen off too.
It wasn't falling off. It was just she wanted to follow her dreams as an artist. And like it was nothing between us. We've been friends since high school and we never had problems at all. It was just I won't say I call her at the wrong time. It was just I would say that I kind of knew. I kept on saying like, let me know if you want to do this or not. Like, let me know. She said, oh no, I'll be fine. I'm like, all right, that's fine. And then long story short, she just texted me one day while I was at work. And like that day, we had a guest that day too. So I'm like, oh shit. Like she just texted me at work. It's like, I can't do it anymore. I had to follow my dream. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I accepted it, and then I just fell away from the podcast. And as I start seeing other people just doing recordings, and I'm like, yo, I have to do this again. Like I built a crazy base, and I know I could do it again.
And it's almost like nice to see people kind of grow past you in a certain way. Like that she is chased. I mean, for an entrepreneur, at least on my front, I'm happy to see people chase something wild and out of the ordinary.
Right. Yes, definitely. And I told her I'm never going to be upset. I don't care what it is. I know you told me beforehand, you're way more focused inside your music. And I said, I understand. So it's just with that. But just with how the whole podcast started, it started with me first. At first, I didn't want to do it because everybody has fears and scared and blah blah blah. I just recorded 5 episodes. I just I sent them to at least 20 people just to give me feedback. Mm-hmm. So how she came along, I would say she had her spiritual awakening. She dipped off from social media. She went and goes on everybody. I don't know how she popped up on Facebook, but I was thinking about her before Facebook, and she popped up right on my screen. Like, oh wait, hold up now. This has to be like a sign. So she was my very first guest on, my podcast. My very first guest. 2 weeks later, I asked yo, I feel as though that you'll be a great part for my podcast that I'm doing. She's like, yes, I would do it. I would say back in December of last year. Ever since that day, killed it. Yeah. We had guests back to back. We had guests back to month. It was just every day we were just killing it. And then I'm like, damn, the time has come that we gotta cancel the show. So, but yeah, I mean, before it was the Development Victory Podcast, it was the Hash Time with Todd and Destiny.
Okay, so. And that's something that not a lot of people have really talked about either. Like, how do you know when you found the right partner? Like, what qualities do you look for?
I look for to find out who you really are. Like, are you saying that you really are, or are you just saying it just because I asked you for opportunity? Like, I must know that I gotta feel comfortable with you. Like right now, I'm not doing a co-host because it was just that vibe that we had. Mm-hmm. I know that I'm not gonna find it nowhere else. It was just click on right there, and I know I'm not gonna find it anywhere else. But with me, it's just like you got to be true to yourself. You got to be funny. You got to be dope, and you just got to know what you're talking about, pretty much.
So, and it's kind of weird that podcasting has kind of come from those like basement conversations that you're used to in high school. Like, that's what I always think of with podcasting is like, okay, we get two like-minded people together and see what kind of boils over.
Yes, and that's what happens.
And not even like it, and even kind of apart from that, some of the best podcasts that I've really started to like is two completely polar opposite personalities kind of
right.
playing off each other and almost insulting each other like time to time.
Yes, yes. But yeah, I think we really didn't insult each other. I mean, we made fun of each other, but it was like, a laugh. But like we wasn't the type of hostess to like, we was all about the people. This podcast is for the people. You know.
I'm just a natural ball buster.
Oh
That's
no!
how I've always grown up. Like that's just
No.
how I've always been.
No,
I'm a
totally
big
fine.
fan of the idea that the more awkward conversations you have, the more you're growing.
Yes, that is true.
Ball busting is a good key to awkward conversation sometimes.
Yes, that is very true. But just the podcast by itself, like the concept of it, my podcast is about helping people. So it can be entrepreneur, it can be your 9 to 5, it can be your kids. I mean, being a parent, because I'm a parent too. So it's like I know now, anything, anything that helps somebody each and every day, and like they hear my voice, and I know that it's getting out there helping them. I'm doing my job.
So I heard something in there. So you've got a W-2 job, a 40-hour W-2 job. You've got at least 2 or 3 businesses that you're running. And you got at least one rugrat. Like, I don't know how many in total you have.
I got one kid. That's it.
I've got one. She just was 6 months old, like 2 days ago.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Yeah. So I got a fresh one.
Okay. All right.
Like I haven't messed her up yet at all. Like soon, but not at all yet. So what would you say, especially from an entrepreneurship front, the biggest asset you have is time. And that's something that you have very little of when you got a W-2 taking up 40 hours. You got a kid taking up another at least 10 to 20.
I don't want to go in depth about that. To let everybody know, if you do become an entrepreneur, just be prepared for which your wife or girlfriend to have I won't say argument, but a debate, So, because like my wife, she gets upset. I'm like, yo, it's either I come home, go to sleep, and just wake up again and do the same thing over, or I stay up 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning to, bust my behind and, get my business off the ground.
And it's a matter of you're willing to trade your todays for a lot of tomorrows.
Right. That is true.
Because I've got like same idea, but that's an awkward conversation to have, is to be able to say, listen, I have to sacrifice a lot of, and you're going to have to take up a lot of this slack for the next
whatever, how long
months.
it takes. Yes, like that's what I'm saying. Like I told her, matter of fact, I just told her that 2 days ago. I was like, listen,
so one piece of advice I always say with that is give them enough, like give yourself enough time to see the wheels grip, but always give them like, hey, I need you to support me 100% for the next blank months.
Right, of course, yes. And she does, everybody. Like we got married for a reason, so just like she does.
but I always think you need to be able to give them the right to pull the parachute eventually, because if you say I need you to support me indefinitely on this, even if it's killing you inside.
Oh, so before we got together, I explained to her, like, listen, this is X, Y, and Z, and this is A, B, and C, and I'm trying to get to D. Yeah. And I told her before we dated, before we got married, anything, I said, listen, are you sure that you want to do this? Because once the time comes, you probably won't see me no more. She was like, I'm fine. I'm like, okay.
And that's a testament. That means you found a strong woman.
Right. Yeah. Right.
That's a big one. That's not easy to come across.
So
Because and I'm lucky that I have somebody who can like take on that weight, because that's not a small thing by any
no, it's not.
stretch.
It's not. And also, as a parent, you feel bad sometimes too. And also a spouse
Mhm.
that you're not doing your athlete duties as a father or a spouse.
And that's something that, unless you create that circle specifically of other entrepreneurs,
Mm-hmm.
like my college buddies don't understand that.
Mm-hmm. That's
My
true.
like they're some of my best friends in the world, but they don't understand the idea of, you know what, I'm going to be up at 2 o'clock in the morning editing podcasts. I'm going to be working on this book, and you know what, you need to take the baby.
And like don't like and like my daughter's 3. Well, she about to be 3 soon. So where we don't really have to like really worry because like she'll eat on her own. She can't change her diaper yet, but so but like she'll go to sleep on her own.
Right.
Only thing she really wants is, as a parent that you must do is play with them, spend time with them. That's all.
Yeah.
Other than that, you have to, if you choose to be an entrepreneur, just be prepared to think that comes with it. I'm
Yeah.
gonna say that. That's all I'm gonna say.
And it's not something like, that's one of the big reasons you need to find support in this like world, more than anything else, because nobody else is going to get it the same way.
That is very true. And like,
Nobody else at your W-2 is going to figure that out.
not at all. I'll say one person, and he's my mentor / manager, and like he drives me to work every day. He's the only person that understands me at work,
Mm-hmm.
because his name is Pro Taylor. We bonded last year coaching football.
Okay.
We never talked. It was like one day I used to work at Staples. He came in, brought a printer. I think my manager asked him, how's football? I was like, where do you coach football? He was like, around the corner. I'm like, oh shit. Well, can I coach too? And ever since that day, we made a bond. Like the day I asked him to be my mentor was at his house and at a cookout, and he was explaining to me, make your first dollar first, and then worry about making your first million. Because once you make your first dollar, that's when you start making your first million. I'm like, all right, you know what? This dude has to become my mentor. He understands where I'm coming from, even though he works at 9 to 5. Pro Taylor is really different. If he really wanted to not work, he can. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna say his money wise. If he wanted not to work, he really can do that.
So that's something I've always liked people talking about, because finding a mentor is such a key part of the equation.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you not just establish and like meet each other, because you guys met each other somewhat coincidentally,
Right.
but how do you establish like the bounds of that relationship? Like how often, how structured is it?
It's really structured. And like, even though I won't say we both come from the same place, but we both come from the same background and we understand each other. But he was a pro baseball player. So during that time when he was young and traveling, he picked up on so many things where it transpired to, telling other people, hey, X, Y, and Z, do this. But also with him, his network is big. He has a network for anything that you need is big.
And that's the thing that I've always found is the most powerful tool. And that's the one thing you can never outsource, is actually shaking hands and kissing babies.
Yeah, that is really true.
Nobody can, there's no machine that can do that. No machine can create those relationships.
Right.
So when you have it, are they kind of like coaching calls that you you guys just kind of call each other once in a while? Or is it, hey, we're talking Thursdays at 9 p.m.?
No, with him, he's the manager at his company too. Like I said before, guys, Pro Taylor cannot work if he really wanted to. But he picks me up and drives me home every day. So that's where that bond creates even more talking, conversation, X, Y, and Z. Hey, how's your family? Hey, how's your wife? Hey, my wife is being stupid and we're having a stupid ass argument. I'm like, okay, it's like,
So you have it where you're seeing your mentor every single day, no matter what, and you're able to really talk about anything at all.
anything I feel as though that I know he can definitely give me some pointers on. And if it's not, he will say, hey, I'm the wrong person to ask. I'm like, oh shit, okay, I'll ask somebody else then. So it's just like,
And that's something you just don't find enough, is people willing to say, I don't know.
Right.
That's especially in the internet age, that is probably the biggest scant resource in the world.
Yes.
Is people just willing to say, like, oh.
But Pro Taylor, I definitely look up the Pro Taylor. Not only because what he because what he have is what he can do for other people inside the community, and also he's like my big brother that I always wanted. Honestly, he's helping me out with a job. He's he tried to help me out with my business. He has a ton of people out Pakistan who does the whole clothing thing. So it's just like, he helps me out in so many ways that,
So like virtual, like that's where you're actually having your clothing made, is Pakistan?
Oh no, they cost too much. No.
Okay.
I wish. I mean,
Yeah.
soon I will. Soon I will, but no, not right now.
Yeah, it's just about scaling right now and having those
Right.
prototypes is like as
Right.
many people, like influencers, as you can. Like focus more about getting them in the right hands than anything.
Right. That's pretty much all with me. But yes, definitely Pro Taylor. I will say the next time if you do have me on, I'll definitely probably try to bring him on because he always wanted to come on my podcast, and he said.
And I'd love to have that, especially somebody who has that background and like not just pro sports, but specializes in networking.
Right.
Because like I said, that's a dying art these days.
Right. That is
like, and not like actually shaking hands, not just sending an IM.
Right. That is true. That is true.
That's a completely different animal.
That is true.
And very few people understand that dining room table belly to belly idea.
Yeah, that is true. Yes.
That's a whole other So I think we covered a ton of great things. The book I want you to read more than anything else is 12 Months to a Million by, I forgot if it's Ryan Daniel or Daniel Ryan Moran.
I'll look it up. I'll look it up. So
I do Audible for everything. Like that's where I got it, was Audible.
Right. Oh, okay.
And it's a brand new book. I think it just came out this year.
Okay. All right. I'll look into it.
But that is all about growing a product-based business.
Okay.
There's tons of other books out there that can overcomplicate things. That's not what you need. You need to know how to build your tribe.
Oh, of course. That,
I think, is probably, of the books I've read in the last 5 years, that's the one I would point you to.
Okay. I'll definitely look into it.
Yeah. But it's been awesome having you on. I've been loving this conversation. We covered a lot all at once.
Thank you so much.
So how do people find you? Where do you want them to go to connect?
Goodness, I'm really such a busy person. But if you do message me, I'll try to get back to you best as possible. But for my main page, even though I don't use it no more, for my Instagram, you can follow me on at DJ Todd Boogie at 23. That is my main Instagram page. But my two focuses on that I'm using for my messaging and everything business wise is Fit Guerrilla at Fit Guerrilla 23 is my Instagram for my fitness brand, and for my podcast, it is Development Victory Podcast. If you do ever want to come on my show, if you do want to buy a product, let me know. And also my website is, hold up, I always forget it because what is it?
Oh, is that the old logo on the back of the phone?
Oh yes. This is
I love the new one better. It's so much more like
this is my old one.
Yeah, that one, like, I love the minimalism to it, but it doesn't jump the way the other one does.
Yeah, and that's what most people said. Like, but my website for my fitness brand is fitgorilla store.com. It's open 24/7. I'll ship as fast as possible. I still have stuff in stock. So if anybody want to buy anything, if you do listen to this podcast and you hear my brand and you hear my website, shop with us. Give us a like. Anything that you want to do.
Awesome. But it was so great having you on. I've been we went all over the this one.
Thank you. Oh, I just say one more thing. I just want to give 2 shout outs to 2 people and also my group. I want to give a shout out to Carlos Lewis. Make sure everybody go follow him at toasttoachievements.com. That is his clothing brand. Also, I want to give a shout out to Tyre Burks, my brother, my photographer, who's giving me a photo shoot this Saturday. Make sure you guys go follow him at limit breaker, limit underscore something. I don't know. I forgot what it is. His Instagram is like crazy. But for all photo shoots, I think it's limit breaker something. I forgot what it is. And so if you're in the Maryland area, just follow him. Facebook is Ty Burks, is TYBURKS. If you want anything, any photography. Hopefully everybody does have learned something from this podcast. Like I said before, your mindset is the most powerful thing in order to create anything that you want inside your life.
Awesome. But thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate like the honesty of the conversation. Like that's a big one. Letting people know like the bruises you pick up. Like that's something too many entrepreneurs out there want to glamorize. No, it's a Mike Tyson fight day in, day out.
Yes, it is. Yes.
All right. So thank you, Todd. Everybody who's listening, please take the time, like, subscribe. It really helps the podcast. And until next time, go fix yourself.